Imagine a city larger than ancient Rome. Its streets are perfectly grid-planned. Its drainage system rivals modern municipal engineering. Its merchants trade with civilizations thousands of miles away. Its people have developed their own script, a script no one on Earth has been able to read. And then, one day, they are simply gone. No war, no conquest, no catastrophe, we can name, just silence. This is not a single story. This is 10 of them. We tend to imagine history as a straight line, a march of progress from primitive to sophisticated. But the archaeological record tells a far more humbling story. Civilizations do not simply evolve. They rise, they flourish, and sometimes, with terrifying completeness, they disappear. Not always through war, not always through plague. Sometimes through choices we still do not understand, through migrations we cannot trace, through collapses that modern science is only beginning to decode. What makes these 10 civilizations extraordinary is not merely that they fell. It is that they achieved things we are still struggling to explain. And then they left no one behind to explain them. We are going to travel across 10 civilizations, across continents of time, and ask the question that archaeologists and curious minds have never stopped asking: where did they go? 10. The Indus Valley Civilization, number 10 on our list, is perhaps the most extraordinary civilization we were never fully taught about in school. 4,000 years ago, in the floodplains of what is now Pakistan and northwestern India, a civilization was quietly building the most advanced urban infrastructure on Earth. The Indus Valley Civilization, also called the Harappan Civilization, stretched across an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. At its height, it was home to over 5 million people. Its cities were planned with a precision that modern urban engineers still admire. Every street ran in a perfect grid. Every house was connected to a centralized drainage system, covered, brick-lined, and maintained by what must have been an organized municipal authority. 5,000 years before Roman aqueducts became the wonder of the ancient world, the Indus Valley had already solved the problem of sewage. But here is what makes this civilization just impressive, but haunting. They had a written script. Over 4,000 inscriptions have been found across the civilization, and not a single linguist, not a single cryptographer in the entire history of modern academia has been able to decipher it. We do not know what they called themselves. We do not know the names of their rulers, or if they even had rulers. We do not know what they believed. And then, around 1900 BCE, they left. Not violently. There are no mass graves, no burned cities, no sign of conquest. The cities were simply abandoned, methodically, as if an entire civilization packed its memories and walked away. Some scholars point to climate change, others to shifting rivers, but no single theory has been proven. The Indus Valley Civilization was not conquered. It was not destroyed. It simply chose a different future and took its secrets with it. 9. The Nabataeans, number 9. Imagine walking through a narrow canyon in the desert. The walls close in, the light narrows, and then suddenly, it opens. And there, carved into stone, is a city. This is Petra, built by the Nabataeans, an Arab civilization that turned one of the harshest deserts on Earth into one of the ancient world's wealthiest hubs. They controlled the spice trade routes connecting Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. Their city was home to tens of thousands, and their greatest achievement: water. They engineered channels, cisterns, and reservoirs so precise that they could capture and store every drop of rainfall. They didn't just survive the desert, they mastered it. But by the 2nd century, their kingdom was absorbed into a larger empire. Their language faded. Their culture blended into the world around them. They didn't vanish overnight. They dissolved so completely that for over 1,000 years, the outside world forgot their city even existed. A civilization that carved a city into stone, forgotten by history. We are barely 2 civilizations in, And already we have found engineering that modern cities still struggle to replicate. But the next story is even more unsettling. Because the civilization we are about to explore was building pyramids before Egypt. And almost no one alive today has heard of them. 8. The Caral civilization, 5,000 years ago. In the coastal valleys of Peru, a civilization was rising, the Caral civilization, the oldest known civilization in the Americas. While Egypt was just beginning, Caral was already building monumental pyramids. They had no pottery in their early stages. No signs of warfare, no weapons. Instead, they had music. Flutes made from bird bones, ceremonial centers. A society built not on conquest, but on community. And then, nature turned. Floods, earthquakes, climate shifts. Their agricultural systems collapsed, and the people left. For thousands of years, their pyramids were mistaken for natural hills. An entire civilization, hiding in plain sight. 7. The Minoans. On an island in the Mediterranean, the first advanced European civilization emerged. The Minoans. Their cities had plumbing, ventilation, multi-story buildings. Their art was vibrant, full of life. They were not a warlike people. They built no defensive walls. And then, destruction came. A massive volcanic eruption shook the region. Tsunamis followed. Ash blocked the sky. And while some cities survived the eruption, something else finished them. Their language is still unread, their identity unknown. Even their name is not their own. We call them Minoans. But we do not know what they call themselves, and we never will. If this kind of deep, cinematic exploration of history is what you come here for, subscribing takes 2 seconds. Now, back to the civilizations that history forgot. 6. Göbekli Tepe builders. Number 6 does not even have a name. 11,000 years ago, long before agriculture, before cities, something extraordinary was built. Massive stone pillars, carved with animals and symbols. Arranged in precise circles, this should not exist. According to everything we thought we knew, humans at that time were simple hunter-gatherers, and yet, someone built this, and then, just as mysteriously, they buried it, deliberately, layer by layer, and walked away. We do not know who they were. We only know they existed, and they erased themselves. 5. Cahokia, in North America. A city once stood larger than London. Cahokia, built without wheels, without metal tools. Its central mound rivals the scale of ancient pyramids. It had plazas, observatories, organized planning. And then, around 1350, it was abandoned. No written records, no explanation, just earthworks rising from empty land. The largest city in its region, forgotten. 4. Aksumite Empire. In East Africa, a powerful empire once stood among the greatest in the world. Aksum. It had currency, trade networks, monumental architecture. Its rulers carved massive stone obelisks from single pieces of rock. It was a global power. And then, slowly, it declined. Trade routes shifted, resources depleted. Its influence faded, a thread of its culture survives. But the empire itself, gone. 3. Tiwanaku high in the Andes, nearly 4,000 meters above sea level. A civilization achieved the impossible. They farmed in extreme conditions. They engineered the land to survive frost and drought. They built monuments aligned with the sky. And then, the water disappeared. Drought struck, the system failed, the civilization collapsed. Even those who came after them could not explain what they had built. 2. Khmer Empire in Southeast Asia. A vast city once housed nearly 1 million people. Angkor, a masterpiece of engineering. Temples carved with endless detail. A water system unmatched in its time. And then, drought, instability, change. The city was abandoned. And the jungle took it back, stones swallowed by roots. Faces hidden in silence. One Rapa Nui. In the middle of the ocean, On one of the most isolated islands on Earth, a civilization built nearly 900 massive statues. The Moai, carved, moved, and raised without modern tools. They represented ancestors, memory, identity, but the island could not sustain them. Trees disappeared, resources collapsed, conflict followed. Then came outsiders, disease, slavery, and silence. The last people who could read their writing died, taking their story with them. 10 civilizations, 10 different endings, one truth. Every one of them built something extraordinary, and every one of them vanished, not because they were primitive, but because civilizations are fragile. They depend on balance, on climate, on choices, on time. Some of their voices remain, in scripts we cannot read, in symbols we cannot understand. They were trying to tell us something, but we may never know what. These are not just ruins, they are questions. About what we build, what we lose, and whether what we are building today will last. History does not guarantee survival, only remembrance, or forgetting. Until next time, keep reading between the lines.